Okay, the next species we're going to look at right down in the same drill row as the previous two is tall or rough dropseed. And this is another one of those native prairie grasses that can actually, even though it's a perennial, it can mature from seed in the first growing season and actually produce a flower stalk. And this is the flower stalk. It's encased, and then it has this little flag leaf that sticks up above. So this is actually the flower stalk of the tall or rough dropseed. When you look at this particular species, the first thing you do is roll the tiller. And you know it's got a round tiller, so you go into my description and you've immediately eliminated a lot of the other grasses with the flattened tiller. It's got a round tiller, and one of the characteristic identification characteristics that the drop seeds have is right around where the leaf connects into the tiller, there are these characteristic hairs that go around the tiller, and I can see one right here. I'm hitting it on my thumb. All the drop seeds have those really characteristic hairs right around the base of where the tiller meets the leaf. The other characteristic is that for the drop seeds, if you rub the leaf backwards, if you rub it this way, it feels really rough, and those are really fine hairs, and it makes the texture of the leaf really rough. They are also very slender leaves that end in a point. See how these leaves end up in almost like a needle-like point. When all else fails, you can do the tug test, and you can see all of these are tillers or shoots of one drop seed plant. There's 5 or 6 here. Here I am doing the tug test. I'm pulling pretty hard on it. I'm pulling really hard on it, and nothing. There's no budging. By contrast, here's a foxtail, and I hardly pulled it up, and it comes right out of the ground. This is a fairly common situation, but when you are drilling, when you're planting native prairie plants with a no-till drill, often the drill will drop multiple seeds in the same location. And so what looks like one plant in this cluster, we actually have 3 individual prairie wildflowers in this one little cluster here. You can see how high they're about 4 inches, so they're about as high as the grasses that we found. So let's start at one end and identify them and go to the other end. Okay, the first wildflower is this particular one right here. There's 3 leaves to it. This is a pale purple coneflower. As you notice, there's no stem. These are actually petioles that go right into right into the ground. There's no stem with this seedling. One of the ID characteristics is that you can see there's 3 linear veins on the leaf. These leaves have very coarse hairs, and they're very rough when you rub your finger over them. In fact, I can't even hardly rub my finger on it. It catches it like sandpaper. These leaves are lance-shaped, so they're shaped like the lance of a spear. A long petiole, no main stem, and the leaves are very rough and hairy. That's pale purple coneflower. The next one, this is stiff goldenrod. This particular leaf, it's kind of rough when it's to the touch, but you notice there isn't the 3 linear veins on this leaf. There's almost little notches on the edge of the leaf, and they look like notches. They're not really look like saw blades like on the sawtooth sunflower. These are like little notches on the leaf. Again, there's no stem. There's no stem to this plant. There's just a long petiole that goes right into the ground. This is stiff goldenrod. The third seedling that we're looking at in this cluster is Black-Eyed Susan. And this is a Black-Eyed Susan. It's got a almost like a velvety leaf. You can see it when I look at it in the sun. There's so much hair on that leaf, and the hair is really soft. It has no main stem. The petiole, in other words, where the leaf blade connects down to the ground there, that petiole is real hairy. You can see it. It's very hairy. This is a oxeye sunflower. Even though you can't see the hairs on the leaves, there are fine hairs. If you look with a hand lens, you can see them, just barely see them. But there's enough hair on the leaves to actually make them feel a little bit rough when you rub them. And there are a couple of other prairie wildflowers that look somewhat alike, like oxeye sunflower, but one of them doesn't have any hairs, and so the leaves are really smooth, and one of them has a real minty odor. This plant is very similar to wild bergamot, but wild bergamot, when you break a leaf off, has a real mint odor, and oxeye sunflower does not have a minty odor. In addition to the grasses growing larger in the wetter portions of the planting site, the prairie wildflowers do the same thing. Here's a good example of a black-eyed Susan, and this entire cluster is one black-eyed Susan plant, and it's almost like a bouquet of flowers. It's just huge as compared to the black-eyed Susans that we found upslope. Another one of the wildflowers is pale purple coneflower. We showed that as a seedling, and look at all these leaves. Look at all those leaves are one pale purple coneflower plant. And again, this plant is 10 times larger than the plant we found in the upslope. And so don't be deceived if you have a wetter portion of your planting site. You might want to just go down there and look for some seedlings too, but you need to look for larger plants. If you do need more information on any of these seedlings that we've talked about today, be sure to reference the Tallgrass Prairie Center Guide to Seed and Seedling Identification in the Upper Midwest. It's a great resource.